My name is Arnold Perkins, and I'm with the Brotherhood of Elders Network. And we are here in South Africa. We brought 10 young men over, and they're part of the Ubuntu Leadership Institute, which is one of the programs of the Brotherhood of Elders. We have education, economic development, special events, technology, and politics. Those are our committees with the Brotherhood of Elders. The Brotherhood of Elders has been in existence for 12 years. I was one of the founders. We came together because I served as a public health director for Alameda County, and in that role, we did an assessment of Alameda County. We looked at 19 indicators, and people of African descent were doing at the bottom of the list, and 14 of the 19 indicators, and one of those pointed to the fact that there was a decreasing number of African young men due to either being incarcerated or dying of AIDS or having to move out of the community because of economic reasons. We decided we need to get together and to do something about that issue. So out of that came the Brotherhood of Elders. So this is our 12th year going into our 13th year. The ultimate goal of the Brotherhood of Elders is to enrich our community, is look at the issues that we're struggling with our community and collectively come together to solve those issues. We believe in Ubuntu. I am because we are because I am. So that's part of the message of bringing the 10 young men over to South Africa, to have them recognize and realize that we are a communal people by nature. We have our European population is about the fierce individual, and our message and mission is about the fierceness of creating community so that we can support each other. I was raised a Seventh-day Adventist, and I learned some basic principles, and one of those principles is I am my brother and sister's keeper. So I have a responsibility as an elder. I'm a Baba within our community. They call me Baba Arnold Perkins. And because I'm a Baba, I'm an elder. And it's my responsibility to make sure that the next generation, we're able to pass on the legacy of goodness, the legacy of responsibility, the legacy of accountability, the legacy of respect to our young people. With this group, there are 4 young men who are involved in our justice system. They've been involved, some have been involved in crimes of taking people's life. And then we have young men who are from our African American Male Achievement Program, which are younger young men. And so I could tell who grew up and who was raised. Those who were raised are consistent because that's what they were taught in their lives. And those who grew up on their own have not been inconsistent. And we tend to judge that, but that shouldn't be a judgment. It's just you are what you practice. And that's part of what I tell these young people. If you practice being negative, that's what you are. You're then negative. If you practice being positive, you're then positive. You know, and so part of the message is to have them get a sense of who they are, what they're about, why they're about what, they're about. So we're watching our community die, but we have a responsibility of doing something about keeping it alive. And keeping it alive is being able to pass on to the next generation. We don't have to lecture to them. They watch what we do. We often say, do as I say and not as I do. And I think we have to do more to be examples for them and examples for ourselves. And as an elder in the community, it's my responsibility to learn from them as well as teach them. It's a two-way street. It's just not one way where I'm going to teach them everything, because there's a lot I don't know. We tend to want to judge them negatively because of who they are and not help them learn who they might be. My plan was to expose them to an environment they might not ever see. So for example, I will kill you for my block. We often have murders because this is my turf. And I want them to understand the whole world is their turf. I mean, it's just not their block. But if that's all you see is your block, then that's how you respond. That, you fiercely fight for your block. And so once you expand your vision, you realize that the whole world is yours. And so it's critical that our young people understand that they're part of a much larger environment, a much larger world than their block or like their city. And so that's one reason I brought them over. Secondly, I had this vision of bringing young people over to Africa, and I had a meeting in Chicago, and then I went directly from Chicago to Memphis, and the ancestors placed Brother Ade Okuntunye in the car. And he happened to mention, just out of the blue, he said, I'm taking a group of people over to Africa next June, which is this June. This is June now. And so I said, I'm going to take a group of young people. I didn't have a penny to take them. And that was last April. And I was fortunate enough to raise over $100,000 to bring these young people. And it's been a learning experience for me. The journey to get here has been a journey for me personally. And the journey being here is a journey also. So it's been just a really great learning experience. And why Africa? Because they're African children. And going to your mother's house is significant. And Africa is my mother's house. And people say, why not West Africa? Well, the majority of us came from the Southern Africa. We came from Angola, and places like that, and the southern part of Africa, on the southern route, of the currents, and so this is why we're here. And I just think it's essential and it's critical that we bring our folk to the mother's home. If we have celebrations, we go to the mother's or big mama's home, grandmama's home, and so it's just natural to come to the home. And so here we are at the home. The first city we went to was Johannesburg, and we felt that it was important to bring them to a city first so that they could see what city life is and look at their homes and their community and see what that city life is. We're now in a very quiet place. Yesterday we went on a safari drive to see animals in nature, in the wild. And so many of them withdrew because this is highly unusual for them. They're used to controlling their environment, or their perception of controlling their environment, because often they don't control anything. But their perception of controlling their environment at home with their homies. But they're here now, and they're just here. And they have to learning to be different people. Some of this will not, it will not sink in for them for months, maybe years. The age range is from 14 as the youngest and 23 as the oldest. So it's a broad age range, and I think they're learning a lot more than they realize they're learning, because learning involves reflection, and so when they reflect on this experience, I think it will make a huge difference in their lives. We have our older young men, the ones who are 21, 22, and 23. They talk about, hey bro, I'm a man. And I tell them, I'm 77, I'll be 78 this year. I'm still learning manhood. And so to hear them say I'm a man means that I need to do some work. And so we're going to talk about our mentors who are coming, range in ages there. I think the youngest is 35, and I'm the oldest, 77. So we want to talk about who we are, how we got to be, and to have them recognize that manhood is a process where all males are all females, but all females are not women or ladies, and all males are not men. It's a process that you go through to reach manhood and to reach womanhood. It's a lifelong process, and just understanding that is tremendous. Last evening, the mayor of the town we're in, he reminded us that we have built the nations of the world, whether it be Europe, whether it be the Americas, whether it be other parts of the world, that our labor, our free labor has built it. And so we need to claim it. And that's one of the things. And then the other thing that I recognize is we operate in juxtaposition to white people. We measure what we do by what white people does. And one of the things that's becoming clear is white people has nothing to do with who we are, only if we allow that to happen. We have to determine and define who we are in the context of us and not in the context of white people. And therefore, we need to claim the USA as our nation and stop acting as if it's the white people's nation. I think that's it. And we need to recognize and take ownership. And so the mayor last night talked about the importance of us claiming America as an extension of Africa, because he said you came from Africa, generations ago, and you're African, and so you built the USA, and so you need to claim what you built as being a part of Africa. I'm a very strong family man. Family is one of the most important things. I was saying family first. And so it's thrilling to be able to share the experience with my sons. Our oldest son isn't here, and I wish he were. But 3 of my sons and my grandson is here. They're just huge. I purposely wanted my sons to come, and so I made it a point of them coming. The highest honor and the highest blessing is having a family. I mean, there's nothing more profound, more honorable than have a family, and have a family that loves each other. And my family is very different. I have a really mixed family, but it's a very close family, a very loving family. And so I think that we are an example of mankind. My goal is always to be human. And I think what I have is a human family that I'm very proud of. I incorporate the community as my family. I often will, if I'm speaking to an audience, I'll say, hello family, or good morning family, it's good to be with you family. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide under bushel, no. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And I love that. The part that I love the most is hide under bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Mandela says there's nothing great about shrinking from who and what you are. There's nothing great about shrinking from who you are, because it's your light that shines. And if we're in a dark place and no one has a light, it's dark. We were in a cave yesterday. It was pitch black. You could see zero, zilch, nothing. But once you put a light on, it shines. And so if we collectively allow our light to shine, then the world is brighter. If we don't let our light shine, the world is darker. And we have a responsibility to let our light shine. So my family, I've always encouraged them to let their light shine, and the community to let their light shine. And so the community is my family. I am my brother and sister's keeper. That is my responsibility, and I can't shirk that. And so if I have a light, I have to share it. Community means come unity. And so I want to come to unify. And so another reason I brought the young men over here, to let them see they are part of a much larger community than they ever dreamed of. So I'm real big on come unity. Let's come and unify. For those folk who are struggling with their manhood, with being a part of community, I say to them that it's so important that you let your light shine, that you provide opportunities for other people and not be selfish. We tend to be selfish. It's all about me, but it's not about you, because we're social animals, and if we can't share what we have, we lose. And so to me, this is, I got mine, and I can't give you, I can't get any more. But this is, I could give to you and I could receive from you. So the more we can give and receive, the stronger our community is. The more we say it's about me, the more we lose out on community. So it doesn't become unified. It becomes, it's all about me. And I think that's a huge mistake when we have it be all about us. It can't be all about us. It has to be about community.